Do I regret it? No, because I was enjoying the ice cream while other people were miserable looking and only dreaming about bread, thinking, oh, I wish I could have a bite. No, I had a bite. I didn't suffer. Yesterday, I just came back from the States and had Shake Shack. How I felt after Shake Shack is beyond the point. But what I want to talk about in this video is why I have Shake Shack. Oh, Matthew, you're supposed to be a fitness coach. You're supposed to eat healthy. You're supposed to promote good eating. No, I'm not a play kind of by the books coach. I'm a fitness coach who understands that the world is the world for what it is. Meaning, and if you don't know what Shake Shack is, it's basically this burger joint where it makes unreal good burgers. Meaning, back to my story. Meaning, I got things I gotta do. I got life in the way. I got not all the time I want to be cooking and making healthy meals. And sometimes I like to splurge and indulge on good foods. Especially me, being a previous fat fuck. I like good food. And one of the main reasons at the beginning why I got into the gym was, yes, I wanted abs. I won't lie that I didn't. But I also wanted to enjoy food without feeling guilty, without feeling stressed out that, oh, I can't eat this because I'm going to put on 20 pounds of fat after eating this one meal. Newsflash, that's not how fat works. But that's another point. So, yesterday we were coming back from the States. I went to Florida for the long weekend. Completely took a break off the gym. Completely took a break from really cardio. I did some walking on the beach, but that's besides the point. And as we were coming back, I thought to myself, let's go to Shake Shack. Let's go, enjoy ourselves a little bit. I was with my buddy, my girl, and another couple that we were with. And I enjoyed it. I loved it, and I wanted to eat it. And obviously, after I finished eating the burger, and by the way, it was delicious, by how I felt, reminded myself, oh, okay, this is why we don't have this every single day. And it's like a once in a while type of treatment and occasion. Either it's like an emergency or I want to treat myself to a good burger because I love burgers. But the point that I'm trying to make is a lot of people, they think they get scared to get into fitness because, and I was kind of like this too. I was so against it in the beginning. I was thinking to myself, dude, I'm going to get into fitness and all of a sudden I'm not going to be able to eat the foods that I want to eat. I'm not going to be able to, go out to drink alcohol because I have to stay so disciplined. I'm not going to be able to, enjoy popcorn at the movie theaters with my girlfriend. Do you, like this was my mindset, 1 or 2 years into fitness, because I really believe this. I got into fitness, and this is how I lived, and it was very toxic. It was very, I didn't like how I felt. Every time I would see, things that I liked that were obviously unhealthy, I would kind of almost have a negative perspective towards it. Oh, and judge people that ate those kind of foods. Oh, he's a bad person because he's eating McDonald's. Oh, this guy doesn't care about his health and lifestyle because he's eating a bag of chips. Oh, she definitely doesn't care for her body like I do because she's eating a bag of candy. And as I was journaling, not today, but I've been journaling for the past 4 years, that's the power of journaling. You start becoming aware of the thoughts that you're having, and then you're able to kind of mimic and pivot your life into the way that you want it to go to, because as we know, our thoughts create our actions and our actions create our reality. And I started thinking to myself, why am I judging these people? I'm no better than them. Why do I think that I'm better than these people just because I eat healthy? I used to be like them. I used to eat unhealthy and indulge in these kinds of food. And then I would take a look at how they would look. I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense why you look that way. You're eating this. And it was a very toxic mindset that I got myself into. And I almost had to program my way out of it, because it's not it. I came to the conclusion it's not their fault, right? They like that food just as much as I liked it. The only difference is I have a little bit more self-control and self-discipline than they do. Why? Our past was a little bit different. I had something that sparked into my mind where I thought to myself, okay, I'm not spending my remaining years in a hospital bed the last 10 years of my life just because I'm either whatever, type 2 diabetic, have a heart attack, or just basically have like dementia or Alzheimer's. No, I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that. So then I went on this crazy self-development and personal development journey where I kind of said no to everything and looked at everybody who did anything that I wasn't doing in a negative point of view, which was very bad. And I did not like the person that I was becoming in my mind, because outside I was still, my same person, but it's easy to play a character when you have a specific way of thinking, but then you can kind of almost, put on this fake mask that, oh yeah, everything's okay. No, everything was not okay. I had negative thoughts, and I didn't like the way that I looked and viewed the world and people. And I didn't like it so much that I didn't like it because I lost touch with why I started getting into the gym in the first place, why I decided to start living a healthier life, and I wanted to change that. I wanted to change that so much that I wanted to show people, and then this is kind of where me becoming a fitness coach kind of came in. I wanted to show people that, yeah, you can eat in moderation the foods that bring you pleasure, like ice cream, like burgers, like, personally I fucking love burgers. Wings, I love wings as well. All these things that like you think of like in junk food wise, without having to sacrifice your life for fitness. Because a lot of us have this false narrative that once we get into fitness, we have to completely change our life. Yes, your life will change slightly. It will improve for sure. I'll tell you that right now. But it's not like you become this whole other person unless you do it intentionally. I tried to become this whole other person intentionally, and it kind of, I had to like reconnect with my childhood to like relearn who I was. I was like, dude, I'm way too serious. I'm way too judgmental. I'm way too negative. This is not who I was 5 years ago. I was a happy person. I was super positive, and I looked at everybody equally. I want to go back to that way of thinking. So I became a fitness coach, and I was like, I'm gonna become the fitness coach that doesn't only promote this, 100% clean diet, but somebody who promotes like almost like a lifestyle that use fitness not to dedicate it to your life like I kind of did, like, oh, fitness is my only personality. No, but rather use it to improve the other pillars in your life. Use fitness to improve your relationship, and it improved my relationship tenfold. Use fitness to improve your finances, and it improved my finances tenfold. I was like broke in debt, and now I'm, well off. Use fitness to improve your energy. How does fitness improve finances? To go back to the other point, it gives you energy to be able to keep working harder and smarter, and rewires your brain to think in more clearer, higher vibrational, non-greedy ways. Unless you're just like an egotist, then you're fucked. but yeah, like use fitness to improve your pillars of life. That way everything can rise with you rather than just one area. And this is where I lacked a lot at the beginning. I thought that, oh, okay, I'm just going to forget about all these other pillars and just focus on fitness because that's all that's important. And I have this like obsessive, compulsive, I don't want to say like disorder, but I have just like this obsessive like way where I cling on to things and I just do that one thing. Probably part of like an autistic trait of mine, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I clung on to fitness, and then all my other areas in my life suffered just because I was, focusing on fitness and not thinking about everything else around me. I wasn't taking my girl out to dates and dinners to enjoy, fine foods and, fast foods and all these different things because I said, no, that's bad. Like, I would go out with her, but at times I would just watch her eat, and then I'd be suffering inside myself thinking, oh, I wish I could just have a bite of that pizza. But then I had to put on this mask to show her, no, I don't want to bite. I'm good. Like, she would offer me drinks. She would go to, Tim Hortons or like all these other like fast, like McDonald's, whatever, get like iced latte macchiatos and stuff like that. And say, hey babe, you want to try? Nope. Sorry, I don't want to try. I'm an alpha. I'm strong. And yes, it helped. I'm not, regrets, but it helped me build character. It helped me build discipline, and it helped me to learn to say no, which is a very important skill that I now have. And when I, almost do second guess myself, I instantly kind of almost go to that trait I had, like no. But now I have this new way of like filtering it through, like, do I really want to say no? And then I'll say yes, and then I'll think, do I really want to say no? And I'll be like, okay. Or if it's like no, it's no kind of thing. Obviously, it depends what phase in my life I'm in. Obviously, if you're losing fat, you have to be a little bit more strict than when you're maintaining because you have those excess calories. But even when I was in my fat loss phase, I would still be steadily losing fat and looking leaner and looking better, even though I was still enjoying the same foods. It's just about portion control. I was still enjoying the same foods, but I was having less of them. So instead of, 2 pieces of toast in the morning, I would have 1. Instead of 2 scoops of ice cream, I would have 1. You could still enjoy, like, this is what I wanted to kind of build my brand off of, is trying to help and teach people that you don't have to be a slave to fitness. Fitness is almost like your, I want to say the right word here. Fitness is almost like it is actually your crutch. It's your crutch to life. It helps you get by in ways that you would never even think possible or imaginable. And the only thing that it does is benefit your life. There might be some, points in your life where, like me, I was like a little bit depressed. I was a little bit sad, and I was a little bit lost in life. And instead of turning deeper into, drugs, alcohol, weed, porn addiction, I decided to kind of give all those things up and go deeper into fitness. Why? Because I saw the type of life, it was, a lot to do with social media. It really helped, but it showed me the stories that I heard from other people. It showed me the type of life people were living when they made fitness a part of their life. And I was like, okay, I'm going to double down on this. Fitness is almost like a stock. And if you invest, the earlier you invest into yourself and into creating this a habit, the higher rate of a higher rate of investment, the higher ROI will be the older and longer you stick with it. Imagine if you were born in 1980, or imagine, that was a bad example. Imagine you invested into Facebook when it first came out. And imagine if you invested into YouTube when it first came out. Think of that. You would be a millionaire, financially speaking. Now think of that in the same sense if you invested into yourself, fitness-wise, when you were first born. Some of you watching this are 35, 40 years old. 40 years, imagine. Obviously, it's a little bit different if you're an infant. You can't really do much besides, have mommy and daddy hold you by the hands as you do like baby squats. But that's on the parents' job. But imagine, some of you are 40 years old watching this. Imagine 40 years if you started, what place you would be in now, what kind of a different body you would have, what kind of a different mindset you would have, what kind of things you wouldn't be afraid to risk, and what kind of opportunities you wouldn't have said no to. Imagine how much different your life would be if you started 40 years ago. And that's not to say you're not going to live another 40 years. So what I would recommend is, if you are 40 and you want to live the best, and you want to when you're 80 years old have your best life, then you could totally do that. It's totally manageable by just making small tweaks. And like I said, the point of this video, you don't have to say, oh no, I can't ever have alcohol, nope, I can't ever have burgers, I can't ever have these things. Enjoy them, but use fitness as your crutch, because it'll help you, digest those foods better, put them to better use, not just, sit in your stomach and marinate until you have like some sort of like arteries clogged. And that's what made a big change for me. Just think about how you want your future. Don't, a lot of people, okay, yeah, it's important to think about your death. Think about, what would you do today if you weren't going to live tomorrow? But also think about, if you're going to live, as scary as it may be, to 150 years old. Everybody's so, oh yeah, whatever, there's no point of changing now, I'm dead at 70. Says who? Do you know how far we've came with advancement with medicine? And now that we have AI being introduced and only getting smarter and better, who says you can't live to 150? I think 120, 150 is going to be the new 70 to 90. By the time, obviously, my generation comes along, maybe not the current 70, 90-year-olds now, like, best of luck to you guys, but it hasn't advanced that fast yet. If it does and you guys make it to 150, that's amazing, but unfortunately, I think you guys missed that train. Not your fault, you weren't chosen when you were born. But anyway, yeah, what I want to finish off with is, don't be afraid to enjoy the finer things in life, because fitness is a crutch. Enjoy, but also don't overindulge, because when it starts to become overindulgence is when it's a problem, because overindulging itself in anything is a negative trait. You overindulge in, Netflix, TV, binging, all that sort of things, it leads in the wrong path. You overindulge in, porn, sex, work, you become a workaholic, a sexaholic, whatever all these things are. It leads down a bad path. You indulge in food, processed foods, fast foods, pizzas, ice creams, you're going to become a fat fuck. I'm sorry. So obviously it's going to take a little bit more time, but remember, we're not here to sprint. We're here to create, at least I thought it this way, like, I'm not in a rush to see my abs when I first began my journey to get abs. I'm not in a rush to get my abs by next week. right? And I always had this backwards mindset because, growing up when I was 5 years old, how to get abs in 5 minutes. We live in a world where we want everything so humanly fucking fast, but it doesn't work like that. And then once I came into a new sense of thinking, I was like, okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change a little bit better habits, but I still want to enjoy these finer things in life. So I know it's going to take a little bit longer, but I'm not in a rush. I know if I stick with this long enough, it's going to work itself out the way that it needs to. So instead of it taking 4 months, the process that I wanted to, get to, and to the body fat percentage I wanted to get to, it took 8 months. And what? Who cares? The 8 months are over now. I'm at my state that I wanted to reach at. Do I regret it? No, because I was enjoying the ice cream while other people were miserable looking and only dreaming about bread, thinking, oh, I wish I could have a bite. No, I had a bite. I didn't suffer. So remember that next time. And I'll leave you like I always do. Create more than you consume. Serve others, love everyone. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, check out the first link in the description. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.